Here we have the front. It's pretty standard, I would say. It's not really standard because the driver's seat is from an Alfa Romeo. The little mat here says Rover. And this double seat, I'm actually not sure where it comes from. It could be from a Volkswagen. And the only fancy extra we have here is the fan here that we can start to keep you nice and cold when you're driving. There's also a battery meter so we can see the charge of the car battery. And then not to forget the BMW M-Class, I don't know what you call it, RPM meter. Very useful in the old diesel. But that's more or less it. Then behind the seats we have stored some stuff. We have the cooker. I'll show later how we cook. This are our legs for the bed. This is the black water tank, or brown water. Grey water I think you call it. This is the grey water tank, like for used water. And this is the white water, the fresh water. Here's the kitchen unit, and you can turn on the water. It's the coolest feature in the car basically. Here there is some stuff for toilet stuff and for kitchen stuff. Below the sink we have pots and pans. Brush is very useful because the car gets dirty all the time, so you can brush like 100 times a day. We store stuff here in this old container and more stuff below. If you want to cook, you have two options. You can choose to cook indoor, or you can choose to cook outdoor. And this is why we have the kitchen unit here, opposite to most Volkswagens, Westfalia setups, where you have the kitchen over there. But we have it here so we can cook inside if we have to, but mostly prefer to cook outside. Yeah, so here we have the kitchen, and in this setup you can cook inside. But it's not very convenient, you don't have access to the water. You could flip up this one, but still it's just better for the car and for you to cook outside. So I also have this extra little table that you can hook up. And then you can put your cooker there. And then you can cook. And in case you need to warm a second dish, you can use the little one also. I actually lived happily for a long time just with the little stove, but the gas, like the cost for the gas and also the efficiency is just really bad. Those gas containers here, they cost, it's like 190 gram, they cost around 1-2 euros depending on where you buy them. And I bought this gas bottle that I can refill again and again and again. It takes 5 kilos and it costs the same, to like 1-2 euros to fill it. And I can definitely cook for ages with it. I built a little gas box. I don't pretend that it's 100% gas proof, but it's definitely better than nothing. It's sealed. There is 3 holes, you might see one of them there. There's 3 of this size to ventilate. And in general, I only open the gas when I actually need to cook. If I want to heat, I have a propane heater, I'll show it later. But otherwise it's closed because gas is dangerous. It is also a gas bottle with a overpressure valve, so in case of too high pressure we don't have an explosion. So in case of too high pressure we don't have explosion, the gas will just get out here, and because propane is 50% more heavy than air, it will go out through those nice holes in the bottom. Safety first. We also have a nice toilet. I bought it a year ago, but I never used it for anything than sitting on. When you want to cook, it is nice that you have something to sit on. But normally it's just something here. I didn't custom make it, but it just fit perfectly between. And here below the seats, there is storage. Here is electric department. I made a separate video about electric, but basically it's disconnectable and I can take it home, so it won't get stolen. And here we have more stuff. And finally I have my gas heater. I'll try to show it. It's not very easy to get to, but I don't use it a lot. I have a gas heater. I just will mount this one so I don't burn myself. And I can turn on the propane and the heater will run. But it's quite loud, so it's more like emergency heater if you're stuck somewhere or you want to go like in the winter. Then it's nice to turn it on in the morning so you don't freeze. But it's for emergency. Table. It's just a cheap table leg. And then we have a table where we can sit. Here's one person, here could sit one other person, and 2 or 3 people on the other side. But actually when we're traveling we are not using it like this. We are normally traveling 2 or 3 people, and the whole bench seat is actually folded down most of the time. I'll show how. So this is how the bed looks most of the time when we're traveling. You can lay comfortable there and relax. And you can even put up the table that we saw before. One person can sit at the table and eat or work, and the other one can relax. And then when it's time to go to bed, we have those 2 pieces of wood. And then you have a pretty big bed. For one person it's definitely enough. And actually we have slept 3 people here. It's also possible. I sometimes read magazines or specification on real RVs, like camping cars, big cars. It says, oh, it's a very big bed, like 2 meters times 140 centimeters. I think it's called a queen size bed. This bed is actually a little bit more than 2 meters and it's 155 wide. Let's take a look at the basement. Here below the bed we have the basement. Here I store my solar panel, and I also store some simple stuff that will get me out of a muddy emergency. Here the solar panel in action. I prefer the solution where it's just stored under the seat, and when I need electricity I take it out. Of course I would gain more electricity if it was always on the roof, always charging the battery, but in this case I just take it out when I need it, and when it's elevated and pointed towards the sun it's also more efficient. I actually measured today, it's like 20-30% more efficient when it's pointing towards the sun versus just lying flat on the roof. Also, I like not to show off, and I like that I'm kind of incognito. So I store it like under the bed.